Hello, class. This is Professor Gildersleeve introducing you to en101. And I wanted to start off the class by giving you 5 tips and tricks for success. Okay, I'm going to blow this up on my screen here so you can see and read the whole thing. Okay, all right. So in this short video, I'm going to cover 5 tips and tricks for success. Submit assignments as Word documents, study the rubrics, read each course announcement, develop your discussion posts, and check the discussions for comments from your instructor. There are many more ways to succeed in this class, such as turning in your assignments on time. But I wanted to highlight these things because they are very helpful for students in learning the course material and in doing well in the class. Okay, number 1, submit assignments as Word documents. Excuse me. If you go to the assignment, any given assignment, you may notice that there's a nice little box at the end that says write your submission. Don't use that. That's a feature of Blackboard that we can't really do anything about. We can't disable it or hide it. But what happens is when students type their work into write submission, uh, it shows up on our screen in such a way that we can't give you inline feedback for it. So what you really need to do is submit your assignments as Word documents. Now, I will also accept PDF files, but Word documents are best because Word documents help me to download your paper to my computer. Then I can use Word's editing tools to give you in-depth comments, make corrections, and so forth, and then upload it, put it in the feedback box, and then you get to keep that. You get to download that edited version of your paper with the comments onto your computer, and then you get to keep that forever and ever, and you can refer back to it for advice if you have a question or you're not sure what a comma splice is. I probably addressed that on one of your earlier papers, so you can go look at that. You can refer to that. Let's see. Number 2, study the rubrics. Okay, the rubrics show you exactly how your paper will be graded, and the rubrics show different aspects of each assignment to focus on. And I want to take a moment here to show you where to find the rubrics. And I'm going to do something I've never done before with this software that I'm using to record this video. And I'm going to try to share my screen. So I hope this works. Let me see. Okay. Share screen. Okay. Okay. Please bear with me for a moment. Oh, okay. So you should be able to see what I'm seeing now. I'm going to hold on one second. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Oh, wow, that's freaky. But okay, so I'm going to go over here, and you should be able to see the course menu on the left-hand side, and this is where you would go to upload your assignment. Now, I'm going to skip down here. You can see the instructions for your week 1 assignment here in a little video. And if you go down here towards the bottom, you'll see View Your Assignment Rubric. Click on that. Click on that. Okay, there we are. And here's your rubric. And you can see how it's laid out. You can see what you need to do to earn the maximum points in each category. You can see the different categories and the point values of each. So if you study the rubrics, this helps you to focus uh, on specific parts of the assignment and to know exactly what to do to succeed in that particular part of the assignment. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And let's see if I can get back to, oh, here we are. Okay. Um, uh, Tip number 3, read each course announcement. The announcements orient you to each week of the course. A new announcement is put out every week. Usually, they're available to you by the time you log in on Wednesday morning. These announcements contain information to help you succeed, such as the late policy and various reminders. I encourage you to please read the late policy, because one thing I don't want to see happen is I don't want to see students wait until a course is almost over and then start submitting all their work. That doesn't work. That creates a lot of problems for you and for me. It creates problems for me because then I have to grade all of the stuff that you've submitted, and it also creates problems for you because uh, writing is a skill that builds on previous assignments. It needs a certain amount of patience, a certain amount of practice, and a certain amount of time to do it well. So if you're just rushing through assignments to get them done at the last minute, that doesn't work. And if you look at the late policy, you'll see that there's a point where after 19 days, late assignments are not accepted. And the later assignment gets up to 19 days, the greater the late penalty is. And that's meant to encourage you to submit things on time. Uh, every once in a while, an extenuating circumstance will come up, such as hospitalization or deployment. If that happens, reach out to me as soon as you realize an assignment will be late, and we can work something out. I can give you extended time on that, but it has to be an extenuating circumstance. Review the announcement before you begin work on this week's content. Again, the announcements contain tips. They contain additional information and material that's meant to orient you to this week's uh, uh, lesson. So it's really helpful if you read the announcements before you dive into the assignment. Tip number 4, develop your discussion posts. Now, discussion posts are kind of an interesting feature of online courses, because if we were meeting face to face, uh, we'd be having a class discussion. I'd introduce a topic and then ask for your thoughts on it, and then we'd be going back and forth to discuss it. And that's one of the important aspects of writing courses, because they help build a learning community, which is the third bullet point down there. But since we are not meeting face to face, we're online, the discussion boards take the place of those in class discussions. And they're very important that you be engaged in those discussions. You'll get more out of this course if you are engaged with writing a substantive discussion post, a substantive initial post, as we call it, and then two substantive responses to other students. You can always write more than two responses, but you're required to have two each week. Now, what do we mean by substantive posts? Um, One thing, I'll introduce that by mentioning what we don't mean. If you get on your discussion post and just say, good job, good job, good job, that's not substantive. That adds nothing to a conversation. It doesn't tell the writer, the other students, anything. It's just somebody trying to get those points without actually putting in any effort. And that's not what we want. We want you to substantively engage. How do you engage? Add supporting details, add examples, add your own experiences for some of the discussions. There are many different ways to make a substantive post. And if you read through some of the discussions as the course progresses, you'll see how other students just kind of naturally fit into that, or I shouldn't say fit in, but how they just naturally take to that, how they can really develop their own thoughts. And those are good posts to use as models. And as I said, you're required to respond substantive, I cannot speak that word, substantively, to at least two of your classmates each week. You're welcome to do more. I love it when students are engaged, that they want to have a conversation that keeps going, but you're required to do at least two. And on discussion posts, always read the posts from your instructor, especially if they are marked read here. Now, I don't do that very often in the class where I have read here in the subject heading, but in week 7, there is at least one post where I do that. And that's because it contains very important information for you to know before you participate in that week's discussion. Uh, the posts from your instructor can be very helpful, even if they're not directed toward you in your particular thread. Sometimes the comments that I make to other students may be helpful to you on your assignment. So be sure to read all of the comments that I put in a discussion board. And one way to do that is at the top of the discussion board, you'll see a search feature, and you can type in my, excuse me, type in my name, Greg Gildersleeve, and you'll get a list of all the posts that I've made in that particular discussion forum. Okay, so those are 5 ways to succeed in this class, 5 things that will help you do the best you can in this course. As always, if you have questions, please reach out to me through my email address, which you can see in the instructor page. And let's have a wonderful class together.